Hey everybody, it's Holly Burns here of Holly Burns Psychic, and tonight we have some updates for you from the elders about a lot of cool stuff. We're going to cover that shift they said was coming up. We're going to cover some timeline signs they're giving me. We're going to talk about some treatments and how long till some of them get here. They're going to tell us some advice on how to handle our social distancing, if we should or shouldn't be doing it. You know, different countries are doing different things around the world, and I was asking them, what's the best way to go? So we talked about that. We talked about some treatments and what they think about the treatments that are out there. They led me towards some really cool new things that are correlating with what they told us in the last video, which was that we have transcended pandemics and we don't need to have them anymore on the planet. I have some really cool information that correlates with that. Could be definitely a possibility. And let me think, what else was I going to cover? How we're getting off the hamster wheel. They talked about the last video. I'll discuss what that means when I get to that section. And what good things are coming for us as a planet from the pandemic. All right, let's get into it. Okay, the first thing, May. Well, they said there was a shift coming up, and I felt like they meant the shift was going to be in May. They gave me some more information on that. They said by Memorial Day, the worst will be in the rearview mirror. Yeah, that could be great. Doesn't that feel good? That feels good. Then they said more definite answers will be coming soon. That was about treatments. More definite answers about how to treat the disease, more definite answers about which drugs are going to work, more definite answers from the studies that they're doing right now with people with drugs, testing them, more definite answers. That's always good. Then they said we will have another treatment that will reach the mainstream. Awesome. Then they want to talk about the shift in May. They're saying we started that shift last month without even knowing it, because a lot of us started out with this virus with a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. We didn't know how bad is it going to be. Is everybody going to be sick? And, are we going to have one person in every household that's going to get it? 3 people in every household? What's going to happen? So we've been getting better at coping with it, and our anxiety level has gone down since the beginning of the virus. And overall, as a human race, our anxiety level has gone down. So what happens is when that happens is our frequencies of thought are going up. So we're at a higher frequency right now than we were when we started overall. That caused the shift. Also, they're saying one thing that really caused a shift was we decided we can't live like this all the time anymore. It's too exhausting. We can't be sitting all day long worrying, and having so much anxiety and fear all day long. It was just exhausting to live like that for many of us. So these people have been finding ways to cope. They've been finding things to do. Everybody said about a month ago, didn't we say, I just got to go do this. I just got to do that. And it was so fun. We just had a Zoom meeting. Everybody got together and we all talked for 5 hours. I couldn't believe it. And it was so fun. Okay, all these little things that we're doing are releasing our anxiety, our fears, our resistance, raising our frequencies up. That caused the shift that we're now moving into May. Awesome sauce. Okay, so I asked them about the social distancing and how the states are opening back up again. And then there's some new cases, like Georgia had like 1,000 cases in one day right after they opened back up again. And I'm like, what's up with that? What should we do? How should we handle this? Should we be opening back up? Should we not be opening back up? Turkey is open. But what they do, every single person that tests positive for the virus gets treated immediately with hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, that's the drug we talked about in the last video. We're going to get into that later. But there's different ways to handle this, right? We should be using more of that in America. I don't know why we're not. We'll get into that later in the video. But this is what they said about the social distancing and how to handle it. how to trust your gut on it. They said everybody has their own individual flow, and it's an individual decision to make whether you should or should not go back to some of your old ways and start hanging out again, or if you should tell your boss, I don't feel comfortable coming into work even though I'm supposed to be there. There's a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made really soon. They said we're thinking of this in the opposite way. It's not the virus that causes our death. The virus is just a way for us to get back to the other side. Our death was decided upon before that by us and God, and not your lower self, your higher consciousness part of yourself, your soul self and God decide when it's time for you to go home. And if it's time for you to go home, then maybe the virus will be the way you get there. But the virus is not causing your time of death. God chooses your time of death with you. So, that being said, you can stay home every single day and still catch the virus from somebody else and die from it without ever leaving your house. Or you can go out every single day and never catch a thing. It's a completely individual flow. So you have to follow what your inner heart tells you to do about it. Okay? All right. That's their advice. Remember, the virus doesn't cause you to die. The virus is just a tool to use that your soul uses to get you back over to the non-physical. I have somebody that I know whose wife is in her 80s and she just got the virus. She's in a high-risk group. I knew it wasn't her time of day to die. When I found out she had it, I just felt placid energy. Placid. I just said, she's not going right now. It's just going to be fine. She's just going to have it, and it's just going to be fine. It's exactly what happened. She was sick for about 5 days or so with the fever, and they were watching her oxygen, and it started getting a little bit better after day 3 to 5, and a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Never even had to go to the hospital. Amazing. Amazing. She's in her 80s, and she's not even well. She's in her 80s and she has Parkinson's. Okay? When it's your day, it's your day. When it's not, it's not. Don't worry about that stuff, people. That just causes what? Anxiety. Causes your thoughts to be where? Down low, where they don't belong. And what does that cause? Causes you to be sick. We want you to be well. So we want you to keep your thoughts up on the higher part of the scale. All right. I asked about the timing of the social distancing. I am a little concerned about more cases happening with people going back out. To me, it feels way too soon. I think we need another month. I don't like the idea of these states opening stuff back up. I'm like, no, it's not going to work. There's going to be more cases. They showed me an intersection. They showed me the Two of Swords card, which is this, which is the virus intersecting. So, intersecting with a treatment. So there's another treatment coming really soon. So the timeline of this, I'm saying about another month. I'm guessing about another month. And then I think we're going to have something else that's going to be done to help the people so that we can be more together again and not have nothing that works. Now we do still, and I asked, what is it going to be? When I asked what it's going to be, I got the hydroxychloroquine card. That's a drug that's being kind of ignored, but kind of not ignored. Turkey gives it to every single body that tests positive. We have been talking about it in America now for what, maybe a month? There's a doctor, I gave you the doctor in California that put zinc with it and has had a 100% success rate with every single one of his patients. Within 2 days, all the symptoms are gone. I don't know, man. All I know is they keep bringing that card back up again. Also, I just read a Facebook post about the virus, and somebody who works in a clinic or a hospital, she said, the doctors I work with have no idea why we're not using this drug. I don't know either. I don't get it. But I feel an intersection coming soon that's going to help us in that area. Then they want to bring up the fact that the things we're going to talk about next with the new treatments and all the things that these new companies have been doing have been readily available for us to find out about for at least the last 3 months. They have been in the news. But the network news is not reporting on this on their nightly newscasts. So do not depend solely on that for your information about the virus, or you will have major anxiety. I live in the flow of calmness and serenity as much as I can. As you know, that's what I teach. So I have felt this flow coming to me for the last month or so of all this like little inside information that's like flowing down the pipe. That'll start happening to you guys too. Everybody that wants to find out about the good and what's really out there. If you leave the newscast after a half an hour of watching the network news with trepidation, fear, anxiety, and worry on your heart, ask for more, dig for more. That's what I did. I don't watch the news very often because it just makes me get really tense. But I check in with it every so often to see what they're saying. Hey, let's find out what the death toll is. You want to find out what the death toll is? Turn on your news, because that's the first thing they start with every day is your death toll. All right, so on top of that, I got this really good stuff I'm going to share with you guys now. And I've got every single piece of information from news releases that were released in medical journals and other news publications in the last 3 months. So this is what they want to talk about. First of all, AI, artificial intelligence. We have several artificial intelligent companies that are biotech companies across the planet that have been working for years. And what they're doing now is they are switching, some of them are switching their focus to trying to find cures for the virus and saving a ton of time. So this is how they do it. They take what would normally take about a year to analyze longhand by people, and they put it all into a computer, and the computer pumps it out in a matter of hours or days. So we're saving all this analytical time. And they're finding, well, what they'd searched for was current drugs. There's a company called Benevolent AI. Benevolent AI. And they searched for current drugs that would match with the specific parameters that they wanted the drug to do to the virus. So they have all the science of what happens in the body with the virus, and they have the science of what drugs do what out in the world. They're matching that up. They're coming up with, they have 2 drugs that they found in a matter of, it took them, I think they said 3 days. I know for one of them it took 3 days. 3 days for the whole analytics. 2 people working 2 hours a day, and the vice president of the company working full-time on it for 3 days to come up with this information. They said it would have taken 2 months to a year to do it longhand. So what's happening is 3 months ago, the news was reporting that we wouldn't have anything to treat the virus for at least a year because it takes at least a year to get new drugs on the market and to find out what's going on with them and to test them and everything, right? So everyone's like, oh my God, we have to deal with this for a really long time with no treatments for it, right? No, we don't. Every single week, something else comes up. We're getting closer and closer and better and better. We already have remdesivir, which is a wonderful IV administered drug that we're already using in hospitals. We have hydroxychloroquine and zinc. That's wonderful. And we have 2 drugs already that Benevolent and I found that are in stage 3 testing already. This has happened in a matter of a couple of months, and they're testing humans. Stage 3 is human testing. That's the final stage you have to do before getting it approved for use for the virus. Now, these drugs are already FDA approved drugs, so they don't have to go through that red tape either. So, what's happening? Don't believe what they say is impossible. When they tell us, oh, it's going to take this long, what does your heart tell you when you hear that information? Does it say, no, that's a crock of crap? If it does, listen to it. We are the only ones putting our barriers in our way. The universe doesn't put barriers in our way. The universe has infinite answers for every problem on the planet. Everything is solvable. And that's what's happening right now. We're lining up with these things because we're not accepting it. Remember, 2 or 3 months ago I said, we're not accepting this anymore. We're not accepting the olden days sicknesses anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Guess what? We're not. Awesome sauce. All right. So, We got 2 drugs coming down the pipe with that. That company isn't a match for my sign that said new antibiotics. And I felt there was going to be within around 6 months, a company from America. Benevolent and AI is from the UK. And the drug remdesivir is not something that's a pill form that everybody can get prescribed by their local doctor. So I'm going with no go on remdesivir matching up my sign. It is a great drug right now that everyone's using, and that's wonderful. But the elders said it is not the end-all be-all, and more things are coming. Remdesivir does not completely stop the virus. I don't understand. Why is remdesivir rated higher than hydroxychloroquine right now? Because hydroxychloroquine and zinc does kill the virus. Okay. Coming. The elders said actually that it's kind of politics. Why remdesivir got out before some other things did. Because it's all about where the ball gets rolling and the timing and politics and money. That's kind of sometimes gets in the way of stuff. But that's okay. Wonderful company. Wonderful drug. We'll keep going. The next AI company is In Silico Medical. And In Silico Medical. They are based in Maryland. I was like, whoa, that's exactly where it felt like the company was. It felt like I had this instant, like, geographical pinpoint of where they were talking from when they were talking in my sign that day. And I felt like they were over there on the east coast of the USA. And this company is from the Maryland, and they have identified 6 new molecules that work on the virus. And they're working with companies to create those into medicines. New, brand new medicines. So far, if I was going to vote for what they were telling us about, I would vote for that one. So we'll see what happens. But if I was going to guess right now today, I would guess that something's going to come out of that company. And the elders said, when I asked about it, they said, we are very impressed with the work that they've done in that company. They said they are looking very forward to what they bring forth. So that's looking really good. All right, let's keep going. Now, I want to talk about remdesivir. Okay. Remdesivir is awesome. If you guys know about that, that's the new treatment that just got approved. Intravenous treatment of the coronavirus only right now. Taking the days from 15 down to 11. It's been all over the news all week. Hopefully all you guys know. If not, go Google that because we're not going to spend time on background information because I don't want to bog you guys down. So I asked them about that. The point of the reading is to find out what the elders are telling us about this stuff, right? They said, be aware of unrealized potential. What that meant was, don't just rest back on your laurels, put all your power in remdesivir, and everybody is waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We've got remdesivir. Okay, great. Now we're just waiting. They said, that's the wrong way to go about your wellness, people. Everybody's been kind of like, yay, we need something. And they're like, no, you don't. You don't really need, because the planet is full of infinite answers for everybody. So once again, they're saying we need to be careful not to lower our own potential of human beings for our own wellness. Don't just put it all on remdesivir's shoulders to come up with the miracle drug. Don't just put it all on In Silico Medical's AI 6 molecules and Benevolent AI's 3 drugs that they're testing right now. We have to take wellness into our own hands is what they were saying. Really important, really good stuff, and we kind of forget. We really forget that. I mean, we do. We all say we're into healing and we're all, holistic and all this, but then we kind of forget too, like, wait a minute. So, they're saying, they use some examples of how each one of us has been getting our own individual little signs and symbols. It could be get more sleep. It could be buy this new tea you never tried before. Try this tincture you never tried before. Go work out tomorrow. Buy this one spice and make something with it. Go make chili. You have no idea. You just have a craving for chili. Okay, that kind of stuff is your wellness. Just so you know, that's your wellness coming down the pipe. And the elders said, do not fall that short. I don't know how to say that. Do not cut that short. Do not rely solely on them to make you well. Because they said, you can still have the pill. We can still have the drug that works. It can still, bam, you can still get really sick. Doesn't guarantee anything for everybody. So they want us to know we have the power within all of us. And we will line up with all kinds of wonderful things to help us stay immune. So that we don't get it in the first place, or we don't get as sick, etc., etc., etc. So beware of our own unrealized potential. What's their message about the remdesivir coming out? Hydroxychloroquine. Whew. I don't know what to say about this drug. The elders keep bringing it up again and again and again to me. I don't know if something's going to come through with it. There's a big breakthrough coming up with it. I just don't know. I just know that it's still around and being used. And that there's a Japanese antiviral drug that you can put with it that they've been using in Turkey. And so, yeah, I'm not counting that drug out yet. Now, the really big thing that they want to talk to me about, and you about evidence that we have transcended pandemics that came down the pipe to me just the last couple days. Ultraviolet lights. This is going to be, well, we are on the cusp of moving ahead to something. Sorry, a little stuffy nose. I was outside and riding my horse tonight and riding my motorcycle, and it stuffed my nose up. So I have to go take a Zyrtec. Okay, so ultraviolet lights, huge, 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 huge. This is so good. They're doing two things with them right now. First of all, and the elders want to say, this is what the pandemic has done for us. It has squeezed out taking our best. We're going to our best level with information that we've already had. So for years, they've been using ultraviolet light to sterilize hospital instruments before surgery, things like that. And everybody knows ultraviolet light is what causes skin cancer and makes us sick. That's why we have sunscreen. So how does this work out? How does this add up? Well, they can separate ultraviolet light into 3 different spectrums. Ultraviolet A, B, and C. And there is now a company called I2 Bioscience that has purchased the licensing rights for the entire planet to the Healite platform technology. And that is something brand new that's just come down the pipe right now for treating coronavirus. What they do is they take ultraviolet A light and they put it into a tube. And the tube goes down your throat into your lungs. And it kills coronavirus cells in the lungs. What? That is so cool. That is just the coolest thing I ever heard. These are things like the elder said, we're getting off the hamster wheel. When I asked them about the AI companies and the new things they're doing to save time, cutting down a year's worth of work to a couple of days, taking a year's worth of they said it would take a year to get a drug on the market. Now they can do it in 2 months, is what they said. Well, the elders to that, they said, you are getting off the hamster wheel, meaning we are not chasing after our sicknesses anymore. We're starting to be able to get ahead of them and be ready for them. So when they come, boom, they don't even happen anymore because we're so far ahead of the game. We're stopping them from happening. This is the second part that ultraviolet light's going to do for us. Okay. This is a really big thing. UVC lighting. They call it FAR, UVC lighting. What this is UVC lighting is a very short spectrum. So they can put it way high above us and people won't get sick from it. So their idea is to put it at the top of the ceiling of public spaces and it'll kill airborne viruses. Are you kidding me? That's genius. That's freaking genius. And this company said what's really cool about it is it also kills influenza, it kills measles, and it will kill any coronavirus, not just this one. So they said, we're going to have more coronaviruses coming down the pipe, right? Yeah, we probably are. But guess what? We're going to be ready for it. This new technology will kill any coronavirus. And they said it's relatively inexpensive to replace current light fixtures with the UVC ultraviolet light fixtures. Now, Listen to what your inner voice is saying about this stuff when you see this video today. Does that feel good to you? Because that feels really good to me. Test it out. Test out what your inner being is saying. To me, that is correlation that we are definitely transcending pandemics from this pandemic. Yeah, really good stuff. Hopefully, this video is tuning your frequency to a higher frequency right now. And when we're done going through this stuff, you're going to feel a little better than when you started this video. And we're going to continue to work on these things together so that we can transcend to higher frequencies and stay there and create more of this kind of stuff. Because these people that are creating this stuff, they're not getting it from being on ground zero with their emotions. They're getting it from being up on their high-flying discs, as Abraham Hicks calls it. The vice president of Benevolent AI said he was doing a test, and he said, let me find it right here. He said, hanging off the bottom of the graph was a pale blue section that leapt off the page. It was a clump of genes that regulate the cellular machinery a coronavirus exploits to enter and infect a cell. Gumming up that machinery by targeting those genes with a drug might slow the virus. That was a moment in his flow. He wasn't feeling anxiety and worry and fear at that moment. He was in a calm state of being on a high frequency with his thoughts. Bam. In came the sign. Look it. This is jumping out to you. He recognized that. He got that message. That's how it works, people. That's how you guys work every single day. So when I see him say something like that, to me, I know he has a destiny to help the world, and I know he'll be successful because he's getting that information from the all-knowing, infinite intelligence of the universe, and he is a receptacle for it for us. He's here to help us. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff happening all over the world. People are downloading all kinds of great stuff, and we're together collectively taking the world to a level it's never been before, to a higher level overall than we have ever been on. So really big. I asked the elders about the UVC lighting. They said potential to be a game changer. And they said very, 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 very cool. And they reminded me of the vision they gave me a short while back of a wand waving over somebody when they said we're going to get off the hamster wheel and that there's all kinds of other things we could be doing that we're not doing yet. Remember they told us this a couple months ago? These are some of the things. They gave me a vision of that wand, like we're going to have personal ultraviolet things or something someday that we can just like go, oh, you're sick? Okay. When I leave the house, I'll just wave myself down and I won't get your sickness. I don't know. Cool stuff like that they were telling me about. So we don't know about it yet, but we'll be getting to it. Okay. So that's what I wanted to cover on today's video. And the elders just wanted to end with, what we already talked about, the personal flow for your wellness. Really feel for it right now and really be in it. And that's it for today. I will talk to you guys again soon. The next video I'm going to do, I think I'm going to work on how, they had a concept at the beginning of the video that I skipped today. I'm going to make a different video on that. They had advice on how to go through a traumatic experience on a higher frequency instead of dropping down to a lower frequency and feeling like we're all discombobulated and we're traumatized from it and it feels really bad to go through it. They said stuff's going to be stuff, but we can react to it in a different way. And that's what the key is. So we're going to talk about how to know if you're in your flow or out of your flow, what tools you can use to get into your flow while we're going through the stressful time of the pandemic. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you like it, please hit the like button. If you want to get the next video, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell. See you guys soon.